What's up, everyone? You know who I am. I'm Jack Slater, aka the Comic Outlaw. Yeah. And right now we're switching it up a bit with a what if. Yes, what if Daredevil had killed the Kingpin? You've heard me right. And this is from the Born Again storyline. Yeah. And for those that don't know, this happened a while back. I'm gonna have to take you back. Take you back. This is back when Wilson Fisk actually found out who Matt Murdock and Daredevil were the same person. He began systematically destroying his life. Little by little, piece by piece. Destroying the man behind the mask. Until he was basically on the phrase, he's emotionally broken. And he got into a fight with Kingpin. Kingpin ended up kicking his ass. They sent someone after Daredevil. Daredevil almost killed him. But what if it was different? What if it was a different scenario? What if Matt Murdock made a different choice? Coming in a plain blind man, he stumbles over the security guard, able to snag his gun without even knowing. And there stood the Kingpin, ready. Matt Murdock takes the gun and blows him away. Listening for his heartbeat, he aims right for it. The Kingpin more surprised than anyone, that Matt Murdock, this devil of Hell's Kitchen, this angel in red, has fallen. He puts the gun down, slowly walks out, and if the security guard suspects anything, Murdock doesn't see it. He doesn't feel it in his heart. It wasn't until the secretary came in later and screamed. And this is where Matt Murdock fully breaks down. This is where Matt Murdock begins his descent into madness. For all of his values, his views, he has finally went over to the other side. He has finally taken a life. And here he is confessing, spilling his guts, telling the world what happened. Or is he? Instead of an officer, you find that he's talking to a homeless man. Instead of standing before a judge, he's standing before the same homeless man, saying that he is Daredevil. He killed the Kingpin. And that it was not justified. He wanted to do it. Homeless guy offers him a bottle of booze. And the troopers are looking for him. The rumor is that it's Matt Murdock that did it. There's a little cameo by Peter Parker right there, as the Daily Planet is trying to figure out how a blind man killed one of the most infamous crime lords of all time. Meanwhile, the Hobgoblin, ever the opportunist, decides to move in, decides that this is going to be his new home. He begins flying around, but runs into the Rose. For those that don't know, the Rose is the son of Kingpin. He is the one to take over the business. And he is the one that's going to have his revenge on Daredevil. As he begins shooting the sign, he's heard stories about Daredevil. He's seen him. Is he a demon? A dark angel? Whatever he is, Fisk plans to kill him. But all hell is breaking loose. The crime syndicates are fighting, scrapping for whatever territory they can. And Daredevil's on the run as the troopers try to bring him in. Thinking they're just trying to catch a mere blind man, they find that it's more difficult than it should be. As he runs away, his radar goes off suddenly and he bumps into the Punisher. And the Punisher, ready to deal out some of his own brand of justice. Murdock is on his knees, begging for him to kill him, begging for him to shoot him in the chest, to appease his guilt. But the Punisher won't do it. He realizes that Murdock's having a breakdown, and plus he killed the Kingpin. It wasn't like he slaughtered an innocent. So he decides instead of killing him, he's going to try to bring him in, try to get him help. He throws Ebola at him. Daredevil manages to avoid it, and Spider-Man shows up, wanting to help Murdock too, for they have been friends for the longest time. But Murdock's mind, he sees nothing but demons. He sees nothing but people after him. And the chase begins, as the Punisher throws gas grenades, trying to knock out Murdock. And Spider-Man tries to help too, but Murdock is too quick. Murdoch grabs the very gas grenades that he was using against him and throws them at Spider-Man. Spider-Man gets choked up, and Murdoch disappears in the smoke. Meanwhile, at a church that he sought refuge at so many years, so many times. And this nun is actually his mother, but that story is for another time. Meanwhile, his ex-girlfriend, who had turned into a junkie at this point, was hunted down and gunned down. Murdoch was never there to save her, to pull her back from the brink. So she is now another junkie, dead in the kitchen. Hell's Kitchen. Meanwhile, Fisk, not as the Rose, decides that he's going to take vengeance into his own hands, but Murdoch shows up, begging for forgiveness, or death, or both. As Fisk holds the gun, ready to shoot him, ready to take his vengeance, the Hobgoblin shows up, saying that he's already destroyed most of the figureheads, the mob bosses, and now he needs to destroy him to take everything that Kingpin once had. Murdoch, of course, saving the son of his arch enemy, while his own men turn against him. Murdoch springs into action. Fisk jumps out of the way. But the Hobgoblin will not be denied. He wants it all. He wants the throne. He doesn't care who he has to kill to get it. But Fisk is resourceful, has hidden weapons everywhere, and begins to fire. But he's out of ammunition, and the Hobgoblin realizes this. Seizing the opportunity, he smiles, ready to kill. But Murdoch has other plans. As he pulls out a pumpkin bomb, Murdoch jumps at him. The pumpkin bomb ends up getting stuck in the glider, going off. It's going to explode. The Hobgoblin pleads with him to let him go. Murdoch will not allow it. He will sacrifice his life to save the son of his enemy. And as the Hobgoblin screams out for Spider-Man, there's a big kaboom, killing Murdoch, the man who was Daredevil, and the Hobgoblin. Fisk surprised by this man who has sacrificed himself for him. And yet it's still not the end for Daredevil, for the devil still comes back, resurrected in Hell's Kitchen. And yet it is Fisk that has taken on the mantle, using technology and patrolling the streets at night to honor the man who sacrificed himself for him, the man who killed his father, and yet found redemption at the end. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.